The connection became unstable. In short, I'm using a hotspot. I'm using some little hotspot until these people come and you know basically fix the internet, basically install the new modem. The modem basically needs the wall, the connection, where you put screw in the cable needs to be. They need to drill a new one of those into the wall. So they're supposed to be doing that so I can get the real deal high speed internet up in this camp. So yeah. So now I'm gonna have to get back on my phone, which is probably better anyway because you know, because again I'm vertical, so I'll be able to get more. Should be able to get more viewers in here. But yeah, yeah, we was talking about the I was talking to the brother who was talking about he's from Rosedale. Saw the video for Rosedale, Mississippi, and they grew up there. And yeah, we was just talking about the Delta. Yeah, it was interesting that these towns be so small, but they be having so much character, so much flavor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got people that are community oriented that services the community because they know, like, these places have it's just the community. What's up, B3? B3 in the building. Thanks for coming through and showing some support. Appreciate you. It's like 3:30 a.m. Here in the States, or at least where I'm at, 3:32 in the morning. So I was wondering if anybody else, I did a live stream not too long ago from the laptop, and Tina and Sassy they tuned in to the live. And yeah, I didn't think anybody else would be up. So I appreciate you, B3, for stopping by and dropping the sticker. You know, appreciate that. Dropping the sticker in the chat. Um, but yeah, guys, I just been like I said, I'm gonna get back to the content. Creating the content, dropping new vlogs and all that stuff. I haven't abandoned that. It's just that, like I said, you know, moving and trying to get settled into the new spot. Yeah, it's been draining. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Mm, but yeah, yeah. So I took me a nap. I mean, I went to sleep early. I went to sleep early last night, so that's why I'm up right now. Like, you know how that go. But yeah, y'all, it's been like it's been a really good experience though. Um, I'm glad I was able to get some content before I moved and everything. I was glad I was able to get some content, batch record and all that other stuff, and just consistently drop vlogs. So at least let people know that I'm active. I'm still active on here, uh, you know, and just yeah, you know how that go. Dashy said, just pack it up and go back to bed. I'm probably going, Dashy. I'm probably gonna do that after a while. You know what I'm saying? If it was not too long ago, about 30 minutes ago, I couldn't even go back to sleep. I couldn't even go back to sleep, but I guess it's starting to catch back up with me again as far as the the sleepiness and everything. Wow. Yeah, B3, the trolls are in here for sure. I don't know. Is it Alexi Fly? I don't know how to pronounce that. Alexi Fly? I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Your mom called you that. That's very harsh for her to call you that. I don't know how to other than that, I don't know what to how to respond to that. But 2 months. 2 months a member. B3 been 2 months a member of my valued engagers. Appreciate that, B3. Appreciate you for the support. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get more membership content out there. I know I haven't really been as consistent with the membership content. But you know, I have posted a couple of videos about a week ago. But you know, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. The members that I do have, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me and showing the support because, like I said, you know, I appreciate anybody who taps in and supports the content. And, you know, most importantly, enjoy the content. Appreciate y'all. Yeah. Yeah, that's facts, B3. Real talk. That's facts. That's facts. I appreciate the, you know, I always appreciate the support for sure. Yeah. Yeah, B3 been rocking with me for quite some time now, you know? Quite some time. Dashy says North Louisiana ain't got I bet, man. I mean, you know, yeah, they don't, but you know, Dashy, it's just, man, it's just that's how it is in a lot of these places, you know. It's just a lot of it has to do with the economy. You know what I'm saying? They don't have an economy out there like that, you know. They still have it's still history, it's still a lot of history, you know, with these places, you know, North Louisiana, Mississippi Delta, Arkansas Delta. You know, yeah, they might not be doing well economically speaking, but there's still a lot of history in those places, you know, still a lot of history, you know, and stuff like that, you know. It's just unfortunate that these places don't have anything going on like that because, you know, a lot of these places used to be you know, they used to be boom towns. Like they used to be a lot of these places used to be boom towns. They had large economies, you know, you had like, you know, industry, like in some places you had you know, depending on what part of the country it is, you know, you had some places that were manufacturing hubs. You know, they manufacture like a lot of places in the Midwest, for instance, and up northeast. You know, you had the steel mills, the car manufacturers, the car manufacturing plants, and you had some places that produce textiles, and you know, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that you know a lot of these places, you know, were really big economically speaking, and now you know they're just you know a bunch of places that basically just they turn into just a bunch of abandoned towns because of they lost their economy. When you lose your industry, it takes a huge toll on the residents, and a lot of residents have to move because there's no job opportunities in that area that were once provided to that area, which is unfortunate. Justin Hunter says some peeps will never be happy with home. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sad but true. And Jerome Wilson, aka J Will, says I'm from Louisiana. I had to get up out of there. Wow. Yeah, I guess it's gotten that bad. Now, what part of Louisiana were you from, Jerome? What part of Louisiana were you from? Lake Charles? Wow. Lake Charles, was Lake Charles that bad too? Is there any part of Louisiana that's like that's decent? Like that's worth visiting? New Orleans is the only lit spot. Dang, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, Dashy. That's bad when it's only one city in the whole state that's really like popping like that. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Most states at least have at least 3 or 4 places that really like that are really pretty cool to hang out. You know, yeah, I saw that B3 that time that person out. They tried to be slick, but I saw that spotted that right away. Yep, you out of here. People don't have. There's people out there don't have nothing else better to do with their lives than to mess with people. It's one thing to troll, but it's another when you racist with it. That's just insane. That's crazy. But oh, that's what's up. You said 50 Cent got Shreveport popping. He must have made some investments out there. He must have made some investments, develop. That's really good. That's really good if he is making some investments and trying to revitalize the city. Cause Shreveport, from my understanding, like I said, I'm not from Louisiana, so I can't speak from personal experience. But from what I've heard about Shreveport, it was really like it's really bad out there. It was really, really terrible out there. Like, you know, all that shit, all it is that a lot of these cities just need some investment, just need some form of like, because a lot of these areas just been hit real hard to economic decline and again loss of industry. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the fact that 50 Cent invested, um, you know what I'm saying, is doing investments over in Shreveport and is spearheading a movement to revitalize the city is that shows that he sees something in that city that he sees something in the city to where he thinks that the city could turn around. You know what I'm saying? But I just hate to hear that. So I just hate to hear like Dashy said earlier. I hate to hear that New Orleans is like the only city in the state that's lit like that. That's crazy. Louisiana is a pretty good sized state. It's a pretty good sized state for it to be only one city to just be like really lit like that. Yeah, B3. Some people are truly horrible. Absolutely. Don't have nothing else better to do than to try to insult and say just absolutely crazy things about people. Yeah, Louisiana has more life than Arkansas. I bet. I bet. Yeah. You know, because I did some videos in Arkansas too. I did videos in the Arkansas Delta. Cities like Pine Bluff, and like a lot of other little smaller towns, like what else? What else? What is it? Pine Bluff, Holly Grove, whole bunch of little smaller towns. Dumas, Lake Village, you know, Eudora, Arkansas City. Yeah, a lot of those cities are just again. You had a lot of those cities where they were thriving, and they were thriving from an agricultural standpoint. Because all those farms, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, and they had a couple of industries at one point. Like Pine Bluff had an industry out there. They had manufacturing jobs out there at one point in time in its heyday, but again, you had those industries crashed and those cities became shells of themselves. But I can say about Pine Bluff, when I visited Pine Bluff, Arkansas, it looks like they're making efforts to try to revitalize that city. like a lot of the community, you got like community activists and people like that. Some of the college students, even they're part of that effort. So it's going to be interesting to see where Pine Bluff is in the next few years or so. But as far as those cities in the Delta, Pine Bluff, I really saw that looked like they were making strides into like revitalizing their city. The rest of them just pretty much looked abandoned and just like completely forgotten about. You know, but yeah, man, that would be good. It's always good when you see somebody putting in efforts to help certain cities, make a try to make a turnaround, because there's a lot of talented people in these cities and towns. They just need opportunities to showcase their skills, and in the form of a job. You know what I'm saying? In the form of careers and things of that nature. And when you somebody like a 50 Cent, somebody of his caliber, investing in making property investments in the cities and everything like that, it just goes to show you that he has a vision for that place. And I'm interested in seeing where Shreveport goes from here. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all, everybody who's tapped into this live stream thus far, having this discussion. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, like for real, for real. But to respond to what Jerome Wilson said earlier, to piggyback on what he said about Louisiana being hit by hurricanes twice. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. But one thing I will say about New Orleans specifically, um, as it pertains to especially Hurricane Katrina, especially after the aftermath of the hurricane. It was tough. I get it. A lot of people lost their homes, they lost everything. But with people, they lost family members, all type of stuff. It was very extremely devastating. But one thing I will say about New Orleans is that they came back real. They came back like they had a massive comeback. It took a while, but they came back. And you go back to the city, you can see that they've emerged. And as far as everything like that, you see the cities, you just see that city just come back alive and revamp itself. And it's like, people like to go visit. It's just, the only thing that that hurts the city, of course, is the crime. Us outside of that, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. New Orleans is still a really nice city. Richard says, "Hi, is this the who class? I don't know what type of class are you talking about. I don't know what you're referring to. But welcome to the live stream. But I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. But whatever it is not. It's not. It's not. This is not the place for that. You know. All right, yeah, Richard. That's not. This is not that type of live stream. It's the wrong place for that. It's the wrong place for that. This is not. You know. Yeah, this is not. This is not the place for that. I'm gonna have to get you up out of here. With all due respect. Yeah, okay. I understand. Yeah, I see now, Mike Lamberin, and that person, this they thought that this was that type of live stream. It's not that type of live. As a matter of fact, I don't think they will allow anything like that on YouTube. I doubt very seriously they will allow anything like that on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I understand, Mike. I get it. Yeah, I understand he's a troll. Yo, what's up, H Town? H Town in the building. How you doing? How you doing this morning? May as well say morning, late night, whatever you want to call it. What up, Q? Q in the building. What's cracking, man? How you doing? Glad to see y'all in the live. But yeah, back to what I was saying about New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans. They came back. They made a massive comeback despite that the devastating effects of Hurricane Katrina. They came back. Rebuilt the city. They put them levees. They put them levees up, those flood walls, and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But New Orleans, it's a like I said, it's just the unfortunate part about it is that they have the crime and all that type of stuff that plagues the city. But aside from that, New Orleans is a really cool city to go. It's really cool city to visit. It's real lit out there. Real cool. A lot of history, lots and lots and lots and lots of history with New Orleans. Like, and when I vlogged out there about a year ago, I learned like I went to so many diverse neighborhoods and so many different of course downtown. I was at downtown. I went to saw the tourist spots like not River Street, but Bourbon Street, French Quarter and all that, St. Charles and all those hangout spots. But they also got like you also had Treme, the neighborhood, which is really nice. Ninth Ward neighborhood, very historic. Yeah, it was just really cool. Your Dashy and Jerome. Are y'all still in the live in the stream? Are y'all still in the stream, Dashy and Jerome? Because I was gonna ask y'all. We forgot to mention Baton Rouge. I was gonna ask y'all how Baton Rouge is, but Dashy said it was just New Orleans that was the only city in the state of Louisiana that was popping like that. Okay, Q getting ready for work. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, that getting back to that, getting back to that grind. I understand. H Town says NO is cool, but the people there, yeah, that's what I'm saying. H Town, like it's like you have these cities that look nice. They have hangout. They have places that are a lot of history, a lot of cool hangout spots. But it's like the people. I feel like the people make the city. People make the city, and the people are no good. Then what's the point? What's the point? What up, Ryan? Ryan in the building. What's going on, bro? Yeah, I'm doing good, Ron. I'm doing a late night slash early morning live, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, yeah, fourth ward in New Orleans. Yeah, Yeah, man. It's yeah, New Orleans. New Orleans could be rough for real. New Orleans, like I was like, bro, when I visited, when I went around this time last year to New Orleans, and when I tell you, like my head was on a swivel. But I went during, my head was on a swivel like crazy, man. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Like New Orleans, it's rough out there for real, man. Like I did what I had to do. I went out there, did what I had to do, and I got up out of there. It's a lot of history, a lot of history there, and a lot of cool places to visit. But bro, them folks out there, it's something else, man. It's something else. And like I said, man, bro, it'd be like that. It'd be messing up the vibe, bro. It'd be messing up the vibe. Like people want to go and visit these places and go hang out, and you got the bad apples that mess it up for people. I don't like that. I don't like that. Boys and chop females. Yeah, that pretty much sums up Louisiana for sure. That sums up Louisiana in a nutshell. Is dope. The food's good and the liquor is cheap. Okay, yeah, yeah. New Orleans be having some good food for real. I didn't get a chance to go visit the aquarium. I did see that they had an aquarium there. I would like to, so I wouldn't mind going to visit next time, going to check it out next time I'm in New Orleans. But yeah, the food is definitely good. They have tons of restaurants, tons of places to eat there. You know, that New Orleans style of, Cajun seafood and all that type of stuff, man. Yeah, New Orleans is dope. Like from a cultural standpoint, it's really dope, man. It's just like I said, that crime out there is just it's something else, man. It's really something else. Peace, brother. Stay safe. Appreciate that hidden name. I appreciate that. Yeah, most definitely. We definitely got to stay safe out here for sure. Definitely got to stay safe. Like, I tell people this all the time. Like, you know, you should be able to go out and enjoy what the world has to offer you. But at the same time, you have to stay safe. Like, you gotta like be conscientious of your surroundings at all time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's broad daylight outside. Like broad daylight, I'm still gonna be just always being aware of my surroundings, looking at people, observing, surveying, all of that. Cause that's what's gonna keep you alive out here, right? That's what's gonna keep you safe, keep you alive because people they look for people. There's like, the bad seeds out there, the criminals, they look for people who are vulnerable or who let their guard down. You know what I'm saying? People who let their guard down. And all it takes is just for a couple of seconds. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes. You gotta be real. You gotta be like your peripheral vision gotta be. You gotta have peripheral vision. Your peripheral vision gotta be on point. Your your direct line of sight has to be on point. Can't be out here lacking for sure. But thus far, man, I got 8 likes in here. That's pretty good. We can get it to 10 likes. That'll be even better. We get this bad boy to 10 likes. Heck, let's take it to 20 likes. But it's only 4 people in here, so it looks like 10 likes would be more kind of like more realistic at this point. But yeah, we got 9. Okay, we got 9. Just need one more. Need one more like. Need one more like. And if you guys can, share the live stream and get some more people in here because I feel like we cooking as far as the topics of conversation. when it comes to different cities and towns and places to travel. You know what I'm saying? Like this is um these are always good conversations to have, because not only do we talk about the cities as far as the visuals and it's the physical aspects of the cities, like the buildings and the landmarks and all that type of stuff. We also kind of dive into like the economy, the politics, other little topics that kind of tie into it. So yeah, that's what I like about this channel. You know what I'm saying? And we can still have a normal conversation, just but I always just ask that people. The only thing I ask is that people be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Because be respectful to other people in the chat. Even if they have a difference of opinion. You know what I'm saying? Just be respectful to other people, and let's just have just genuine conversations. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I look for, you know what I'm saying? But like the trolls that came in earlier, a couple of them, I spotted a couple of them, saying some really inflammatory remarks, you know what I'm saying? As far as, a couple of them said racial stuff, racial related stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that it's no room for disrespect like that in anybody's chat or anybody's live stream. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Like, trolls, if you come in here and say some off the wall like stuff that's just kind of funny, but it's still like it's a troll type, I can never. But when you come in here being disrespectful and be making racial slurs, whether it be racial slurs or whether it be something that's extremely inappropriate, like another person came in here talking about some extremely inappropriate stuff that shouldn't even be talked about on YouTube or any platform. Like there's websites literally that talk that do stuff like that deal specifically with the subject matter he was talking about. And this is definitely not the platform to talk about stuff like that. YouTube has strict community guidelines and stuff like that. So no, don't bring that. So I got that person up out of here. Don't bring that inappropriate stuff to the live. Don't do that. I run a clean channel over here. I run a clean channel right here with P9 Travel Vlogs. I travel, go to different places. I don't even curse in my videos and my vlogs. I don't curse in my vlogs. That's how I try to make this content viewable by all people, regardless of what age you are, because I feel like it's educational. It's an educational aspect to it. You know what I'm saying? So I want it to be community friendly. So so that's why I had to get that person up out of here, because I'm like, dog, don't bring that stuff to my live streams. You know, you could take it somewhere else where they some other lives, they might be more open to talk topics like that. I'm not open to stuff like that, because I run a family friendly, like you said, B3 family friendly. It's a family friendly channel. It's a family friendly channel. Like I don't, you know, I want people of all ages to watch it because it's educational. This ain't the place to be talking about that, whatever that garbage that person came in here talking about a few minutes ago. Mm-mm. I'm not into stuff like that. And even if I was, I would not disrespect anybody's live. I would not go on anybody's live posting anything like that, because I'm not going to disrespect somebody else's live stream like that. If I was into that type of stuff, which I'm not, I would go, I would go look for websites specifically talking about stuff like that. There's stuff like that out there for people that's into stuff like that, but this ain't the place for it. But other than that, I'm doing good, y'all. It's just, yeah, that just, that kind of, it got under my skin. I'm not going to lie, but I had to address it. I had to address it because, yeah, that's unacceptable. Treat others how you want to be treated. Simple as that. Some people just don't understand. They don't understand that concept. It's simple. Treat people how you want to be treated. I've never even heard anything like that. I never heard anything like that. What he was talking about. I'm like, I don't know what that means because I'm not into stuff like that. But yeah, y'all, just sitting here vibing. It's almost it's after 4 o'clock where I'm at, so which means it's 5 o'clock on the East Coast. It means it's practically time for a lot of people to get up and start that early morning grind. You know what I'm saying? The people that got early morning shifts, you got people getting up, getting ready for work. I work at night. I work night, so I was off last night, obviously, but I got to go back to work tonight. And it just feel like your weekends, it just feel like your weekends don't be they go by so fast, bro. Like it don't even seem like you have much time off. Like, you know, we at least need to do 3 days off, bro. Like we at least need 3 days off of work as opposed to two. Like I feel like three would be good. If we want to get a 40-hour week in, I feel like if we want to do a 40-hour work week, we should be able to cram it in no 4 days. We should be able to cram it into 4 days, 10 hours a piece, 10 hours a day, 4 days, 40 hours, 3 days off. Cause especially from what I'm doing for my content creation, my channel, like 2 days ain't enough for me to really to go anywhere and really get. I mean, I can get as much as I can and do what I can, but you really need. I really need 3 days, 3 days to really get a ton of content. I need one day to rest and the other 2 days off to just go all in on the content and then go back to work when it's time. When those 3 days are over, go back to work. You know what I'm saying? 2 days ain't cutting it, bro. 2 days off ain't it's nothing. Because when you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, with those 2 days, you only really have one day to really recuperate and rest. The other day, once you sleep that day, sleep most of that day or that first day off. The second day, you'll probably have energy to do everything. But then once you really start enjoying it, you enjoy that second day off. By by the time you get to yeah, and then it's time to go back to work the next day. It's like you don't. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But they insist on having this 5 day work week, which is crazy to me. It never made sense to me, as a matter of fact. It never made sense, but that's the way it is. That's the way it's designed. So it is what it is. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hit it because this sleepiness is catching up with me. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely go back live later on today. I might even get some content today. I might go get some vlogs done today, and just so that way I have some content for you guys. But yeah, to all my supporters and people that viewed this video, B3, I much appreciate you, B3. Appreciate Hidden Name. I appreciate Ryan for stopping by, Q for stopping by, H Town, Mike. I appreciate Mike for stopping by. I appreciate Jerome for stopping by, Jerome Wilson, aka J Will. I appreciate Dashy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as everybody who tapped into the live, appreciate each and every one of you guys, and look forward to doing another live stream later on today. I'm gonna go get some rest. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And I'm glad that I'm ending this live stream with 10 likes. I've reached my 10th like, so that's good. That's also a good sign. That's signing off on a good note. So once again, and I also appreciate the trolls, because the trolls, of course, they show who they really are. So yeah. So yeah, B3 got the 10. Salute, salute. But yeah, man. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna tap in with y'all later on today, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until then, peace.